us once again make clear that which most do not seem to understand. This podcast is marked as explicit not because it offers a mature look into the world of topics not meant for the young or immature, but because it mucks about in very appalling, gormless, and tasteless filth whilst reveling in it. Cinema Psyops aims to drag you down into the very same muck, filled with sexual deviancy and decayed morality. Cinema Psyops. They heap weekly praise on such filth while discussing the most base and animalistic urges, reviewing the lowest common denominator of low-grade trash ever considered film. When you look at the state of the world around you and you realize how little time you have left to be happy, do you really want to waste that time you have left listening to Cinema Psyops? They were variously characterized by responsible people as young punks, common hoodlums, and drunken kids. The dignity and respect of our citizens, old as well as young, high as well as low. His mother says he was a normal, happy boy until he became obsessed with Cinema Psyops.
You become almost absorbed in it. It is a driving force. You have to have it. I hate it so much that I've seen if it's done to the camera and personal level. And I want to see it banned. I want to see it off the face of the earth.
Yeah, it's amazing, but I think parents have to really pay more attention to what these kids are listening to.
Cancer in children? What's that about? How dare you? How dare you create a world in which there is such a division of our people? It's not right. It's utterly evil. Why should I respect a capriciously minded, stupid God who creates a world which is sinful, injustice and pain? Because the God who created this universe, if he was created by God, is quite clearly a maniac. Utter maniac. Totally selfish. Make them blind. Why did you do that to us? Who had got to do that? A maniac. We could easily have made a creation which that doesn't exist. It is simply not acceptable. Cinema Psyops.
I want to see it banned. I want to see it off the face of the earth.
Welcome to the 388th, I think, episode of Cinema Psyops. I'm your host, Court, the guy that's so fucking confused about what episode we're doing because we've done a movie that we're done already before, and equally confused about what the fuck I just said is my co-host, Matt.
Let's see, you carry the 2, and then you divide that by 3. Yeah, we did this before.
Yeah, episode 323, we have already covered Vampyres. Why are we redoing it again for episode 388?
Because your anal retentive OCD need to do a whole entire box set causes it?
Possibly, but also I kind of forgot that we did it at 323 already, so...
But we will then be now.
Soon. basically.
Soon.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. That's basically what we have. We got a repeat. That's our very first repeat. And actually, I feel sort of like I haven't gone back to listen to the 323 coverage of Vampires, but I feel like now that we were a little more deeper into Laraz's stuff, I knew we did like at least 3 Laraz films, but I wasn't sure what they were before putting this on the schedule. And truth be told, I did this schedule like months ago because I was trying to get everything ready to go whenever you started having issues where you had to work like a second job just to make ends meet and like just keep your life like just barely above water and all of that shit.
Yeah.
And so I just basically was going through and grabbing stuff out of these box sets and trying to get them ripped, get them all ready to go, and like plan out an entire year where we're going to be switch hitting and trying to do the scheduling. And it got lost in the shuffle. And then I thought about it. I'm like, plenty of other shows take second looks at movies all the goddamn time.
Yeah. Yeah. Why not? Maybe you see something you didn't see before. I think last time I did the notes, so now you're doing the notes for this one.
Yeah, I do believe that this may have been, it wasn't one of the, I think it was going to be intended to be one of the, like education things, or I forget Horror 101 or something like that.
Yeah.
I forget exactly what it was that we called it. I think it was intended to be that, but we didn't get to it before I stopped doing that series. But I just had to do the notes anyway, and we were doing a bunch of Laraz stuff at the time. And so, I just kind of figured, what the hell, we'll do it again. And I forgot to mention that to you. And I also myself forgot it. And then when I'm doing the notes today, same thing that you did, where I was like, holy fuck, we've done this before. I'm like, oh shit. But I was halfway through it, And
what are you going to do? Stop?
Right. I was pretty much done with everything. So I was just like, the more I thought about it, I was like, no, I knew this. I knew this going in, that we were going to be double dipping on this one. And I was like, why did I not make a note that, yes, we've covered it before? I should have put that in the notes. And my only excuse is I was just in a hurry, and I thought, well, I will remember when the time comes. And I did this 6 months ago?
Yeah. Famous last words. I'll remember when the time comes.
Right. So
that's why I have notes and reminders for everything now.
So we did this a little over 65 episodes ago, or 65 weeks ago.
Yeah.
It's been at least a year since we've last talked about it, and it was
a simpler time.
Yeah, it was a much vaguer, it's much more vague in my memory, and I'd seen it, I'm pretty sure that I have seen it at least once before we covered it on the show.
I think the main thing was boobs, and that was it.
Maybe not, and I mean, I'm not going to say that my review is going to go much past that boobs, but we will dig into a little bit, and we'll probably have a little bit more to say, and we can flesh some things out. And then also we can talk about how, I don't know if you remember this or not, but this print that came in the box set from Arrow is significantly more cleaned up and a lot easier to see than the one that we watched previously.
That's also true.
So I am super stoked to actually be able to see a lot more of everything that's going on, and mostly it's the boobs, yes.
All right.
Well, that's kind of a good way to start the show with the pablum and everything. I almost went back and decided to reuse all the music that I used on the last time we did this.
That'd be some shit.
On the Pirate Radio edit, but then I just kind of ran out of time, and I also thought, well, that's just fucking bullshit.
Yeah. Fuck us.
388 and 323 are pretty much going to be the exact same episode. Well, that's just bullshit.
Yeah, right? We can't do that.
Yeah, I mean I could just release the original intro. Or I could just
we could just, you know what? We didn't even have to do this. You could have just put out our actual last review.
Right, like we just do this intro.
We'll do this pablum and then put in the review. We could have done that. Why are we doing here?
Because you already watched it again, and I did the notes again, so we might as well fucking do the work, like the rest of the work, right?
I mean, you're not wrong. Okay, fine.
Oh, man. So we are now 2/3 through the box set with this review. And so I'm trying to find some different things that still fit with the whole vampire theme that's going on with Vampires. And I'm pretty sure that I'm going to be reusing at least one song from the last one. I haven't double checked to make sure, but it's a song called Vampires from a band called Incubus Succubus. But that's much later in the episode is when that shows up, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Up first, because we actually are redoing the same fucking movie that we've already done for the review, is the Coffin Shakers with Return of the Vampires. Well, Return of the Vampire, because this episode is the Return of the Vampires.
Yeah. All right. We get it. Stop hitting us over the head.
No, it's so much fun to bludgeon you.
Oh, well, that's probably true, too.
Up first is the Legion Patreon ad, then the Coffin Shakers with Return of the Vampire to celebrate the Return of the Vampires. And when we come back, we'll do the fucking review.
This'll keep it quiet. Oh, hi there. I didn't see you. You call me Cutting a New Show. I'm Bo Ransdell, and I'm one of the many creators you can find on Legion Podcasts. I said quiet! My fellow podcasters and I work hard to bring you the best in horror podcasting, but that comes at a cost.
Wouldst thou like to live deliciously?
Not that, but also yes. No, what I'm getting at is that there are server costs, costs for good microphones and software for editing, all the things that make our shows, fun to listen to. And you can help. If you're enjoying the shows on legionpodcasts.com or in the Legion Network available on iTunes and Stitcher, just about anywhere you can download a podcast, really, you can help us out and get a little something for your trouble at patreon.com/Legion Podcasts. For just $2 a month, you get a pair of movie commentaries exclusive to Patreon, and for $5, you can also join us for a monthly screening of a movie. All of that available on patreon.com/Legion Podcasts. We appreciate it, and thank you for listening. Now, back to the cutting room.
All right. Yeah, we get it. Vampires have returned onto the show. We're still deep diving into the Laraz box set, all things considered.
Yeah, and everything's going all right.
According to Matt, everything's coming up Millhouse, but that still makes me feel uncomfortable, like something
Everything's coming up. How about this? Everything's coming up lesbian vampires.
Bisexual vampires, but we'll get into that.
Yeah, though that too. All right,
vampires, the first 20. We start with a creepy abandoned manor and two naked ladies snuggled in bed, not even 20 seconds into the flick. Thank you, movie.
Yeah, thank you.
There is some nipple play before a person in a black trench coat and gloves shows up to fill both women with lead from a gun on camera. What the fuck, dude? Just let them les out.
Yeah, thanks a lot, jerk.
Let them enjoy themselves, you fucking asshole.
Piece of shit.
They are both dead. This cross dissolves into bats flying and our opening credits to some weird jazzy noise rock music. The credits end, people start talking. You guessed it, that's our first clip.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon. Could I have a room for the night, please?
Single?
Yes, please, with bath if possible.
Okay, yeah, that'll be fine. If you'd just like to fill in this form, name and address.
Thank you.
Gentlemen, it's an old client. We haven't seen you down here for years. Years have gone by since then. Do you remember me?
I'm sorry, no.
I'm positive I've seen you here before.
I'm afraid you're mistaken.
I'm sorry. I must have confused you with someone else.
I'll show you to your room.
Thank you.
Do you have some luggage?
No, none.
It's getting dark already. Take a look at the map, will you? See where we are. Did you see that woman?
Who to?
I only saw one.
No, there was another one. She was hiding behind the trees.
Really?
I'm sure she was hiding.
Perhaps you're seeing things.
No. I'm sure.
Well, if they are hitchhikers, someone's bound to give them a lift.
Could you give me a lift? It's not very far.
Sure, please.
Thanks very much.
Well, we've certainly covered a good distance in the last few days.
Yes, we are.
What's the matter?
With me, nothing.
You look worried.
Have you noticed that house over there?
Yeah, it looks abandoned.
This place frightens me.
It's not the first time we've camped in the woods. Oh, like we're both tired.
Perhaps.
Oh, you'll be more cheerful after a night's sleep. I think I'll go down to the lake tomorrow. Deal with any fish.
Why should one of them be hiding behind a tree?
What?
Why should one of them be hiding behind a tree?
I didn't see anyone hiding.
Well, I did. One woman stood on the edge of the road. The other one was hiding in the woods, watching for something. Perhaps just waiting.
Or perhaps she was waiting whilst her friend stopped the car.
There's somebody in that house. I just saw a light move in one of the windows.
Okay, so after this, our caravanning couple sleep in a rainstorm, and the lady dreams of the women before being awakened by a scream that seems to come from the abandoned manor house. She gets up to get a drink, and a man's hand hits the window. It seems somewhat bloody. It scares the shit out of her. This creates dialogue, and our next clip.
Are you kidding me?
John! John!
What's the matter?
There's somebody outside!
What? What do you mean?
I saw a big hand right there on the window.
At this time of night and in this weather, nobody's going to be outside. You must have been dreaming.
No. First of all, I heard a scream. It woke me up. Then when I was awake, I suddenly saw this horrible hand outside.
Oh, come on, darling. Let's get back to sleep.
Sleep? You don't honestly think I can get any sleep now, do you?
The man of the couple goes outside to look around with a flashlight as the lady checks all the windows to see what it is that she can see, if she can. It's still raining. He comes back in. There's more dialogue. You guessed it. That's our next clip.
Oh, there's no one out there, Harriet, darling, so relax. You've got to convince yourself that you were dreaming.
Strap in, because literally almost all dialogue in this review has been considered for clips.
Did you, just clip the movie? I mean, no wonder. You probably didn't even do notes. The long time it took was just to clip the fucking movie.
The next morning, the woman awakes to see the two women tromping off from the manor house, and the film cuts to see the car that picked up one of the hitchhikers is on its side, and emergency services find the man dead inside of the car. We cut back from this to the caravanning couple and our next clip.
The chiming of the church clock that woke me when I saw them pass by. It's the same two women that were close to the road yesterday.
A coincidence.
Yes, but it was them. They were walking quickly, one behind the other.
Well, perhaps they live somewhere close by.
But even so, what on earth were they doing at that hour of the morning? They didn't look normal.
No. Well, what did they look like then?
Can't explain exactly. But they gave me a very strange feeling.
Since we arrived at this spot, everything seems strange to you. You see hands and ghosts just about everywhere.
After this, we see a montage of the couple relaxing. The lady's painting a wonderful landscape of the manor house and the surrounding grounds. The dude fishes or just chills and basically falls asleep in a lawn chair or whatever.
They're vacationing.
Yeah, well, either that or this is just their life. They might be nomadic and just kind of finding places to chill out and, relax for a little while.
That's nice too. They're not bothering anybody.
Right.
They're all having a good time.
I have no problem with this at all. They cut from that to the redhead vamp getting into another car with someone while the blonde-haired woman watches from the trees. There's some more dialogue that happens, so that's our next clip.
Oh, God.
You're not the usual kind of hitchhiker. What's your name?
Fran.
Fran? Like Francis?
No, just Fran.
My name's Ted. What are you doing on the road at this time of evening?
I decided to take a stroll and then realized it was getting late. I don't live far from here.
You remind me very much of someone I knew a long time ago. Yes, very much indeed.
Slow down, we're almost there. It's the next on the left.
Are you sure that this track is meant for cars?
It's a shortcut. It's not often used.
Are you English?
What makes you ask?
You don't look English. Well, what are you then?
If I told you, you wouldn't believe me.
Try me.
Hey, John, look.
Hmm?
It's one of those women with a man.
Oh, again?
There's his car if you need convincing.
I don't need convincing. I just don't see anything peculiar about it, that's all.
Does this kind of thing excite you?
Sometimes. Why?
Now, don't be too impatient. Come. I get the impression that you're not too keen on this kind of expedition. Don't worry.
Now listen here. I find you very attractive, but this stroll is becoming rather boring. What the hell is this all about? You can't tell me that you use this place for your dates.
Certainly not, but where we're going is quite different from all this. And it's too late to go back now. Well, I mean, it would be a shame to retrace our steps after having arrived so far. And we are nearly there. This is my place. Do you like it?
It was better than the rest of the house. Can't believe it. Does it all belong to you?
I'm only a guest.
What other surprises have you got for me?
We'll see. Now be a darling and light the fire while I get us something to drink. Make yourself comfortable. Relax. The worst's over.
I was asking myself...
Asking?
Well, I don't pretend that you should divulge all your secrets, but...
Go on, ask.
Is there a limit to the questions?
There's a limit to the answers.
Do you live here alone?
I often receive guests.
What do you do for a living?
I'm searching all the time. Searching for interesting people.
It's difficult to find really interesting people.
I know, but I keep searching. I know how to fend for myself. I feel happier here than anywhere else. These walls have become my friends, my confidants.
You're not easy to understand.
That's the way I have to be accepted, with no questions and no explanations.
This is my lucky day.
Don't ever say that.
Never mind. I don't mind unusual situations. They come on their own. Like our meeting on the road today.
After the clip, the pair start throwing down, and the film cuts to their afterplay as she pours him more libations, and that's the end of the first 20 minutes.
Well, that, they cut us short on one scene, but, you know, they're going to make up for it, so I don't get too mad at the movie.
Yeah, so this time around, I'm getting a feeling, because it's obvious that the two ladies that got shot are the two women that are roaming around and doing weird, mysterious, supernatural-like things.
Yeah.
That are happening so far when we're watching this. If we predispose that the film's called Vampires and they're on the cover that they are in fact vampires, it makes me wonder more if they're like some kind of an entity or a ghost, and that this gentleman has something to do with it, because there was a dude from the hotel that swears he recognizes him, and he was a much older man, and he said that he hadn't seen him in years and years and years. I don't know how much in the last time that we took a look at this movie we thought about that or focused on it, but this feels more like a reoccurring haunting where people are slaughtered as sort of a revenge for what happened to the two women, and it's primarily men that they lure in, mostly in this case. And I'm just kind of wondering what your take on that was, if this feels more like a ghost story than just a vampire story to you.
And it's a little bit of both, because not only that, but they need these men, as we will see, to sustain themselves as they are vampires. I believe, however, they're caught in not everyone is caught in this loop, just this dude and these two women, and unfortunately then some happenstance people come along and get caught up as well. And I think mostly the reason why it's mostly men they get is because it's men are easier to trap, because we're led by our goddamn dicks so much we can't fucking put a thought one in that possibly seeing women hiding in the forest and picking them up while they're hitchhiking might lead to bad things.
That's fair. Yeah, we would probably fall for
that. But I agree with you that I think it's a 50-50. It's not just a vampire story. It's a vampire story, but the two vamps and this guy are all caught in a vicious loop. And unfortunately, innocent people get brought into it to sustain the women, while the guy just has to slowly die on a constant basis.
Okay, so it's part of the curse from him causing them to be cursed vampires is that for the rest of his days, and he is aging.
Yes,
he's going to be
aging.
Coming back to this, but they leave him alive because that's part of the punishment.
They leave him alive, and then they send him away. Probably in his mind gets wiped, so he never remembers. Then he ends up back in the same fucking town where people recognize him, and he's like, I've never been here, because I don't think he lies about that. I think he thinks I've never been here. It's so fucking stupid. But then he dies. or he's tortured.
What I was getting at is that they're all actually spirits, and this is sort of like a purgatory / hell punishment repetition thing for them.
Possibly, but I still think those two women are vampires and they need blood to survive. And unfortunately, I don't think they're in purgatory. They're just caught in a loop on our earth, and unfortunately, innocent people get drawn into it.
Yeah, well, I mean, caught in a loop, stuck in purgatory, different ways of saying the same kind of thing. Like, this is a repetitive thing that has to happen.
Repetitive, yeah, but it's on the earth.
So you think they have physically risen to do this every time?
Yes.
Okay, that's fair. Yeah, it's just an interesting way of looking at it, and it's definitely different than any other kind of vampire story that we've really talked that much about, because it's a lot more ethereal, it's a lot more dreamy, and it's certainly a significantly bit better than the Blood for Irene series that we did.
Right?
Talk about a looping vampire that was just fucking too much for us.
Yeah.
And by too much, I mean just too fucking boring and badly done.
Yeah, it was not well done at all.
Right, we ready to move on?
Yes. First 20. We're really into it right now. Let's get going.
All right, the next 20 starts off with some talking and obviously our next clip.
Jesus.
Are you sure we're alone?
What makes you ask?
I get a strong feeling we're not.
The paranoia does not last long as the pair throw down once again, and this time it's mostly on camera and not nearly as exciting as you would hope. But there is nudity, so thank you, movie.
Yeah, it's that was nice of you.
The quote-unquote wild sex ends, and the film cuts to the dude passed out cold as the woman lays there staring at him, looking pretty unfulfilled. A knocking sound wakes up the dude, and it seems the lady sleeps with her eyes open, and that weirds him out. Yeah, she's pretty much dead. She looks dead. She's
very dead.
Yeah, he's got woke up like pretty much, I think, when sunrise hits or whatever it is, and this is part of the routine where she's just laying there dead. That's my guess.
Yeah, same.
We then see a door to the room start to slowly creep open. The dude stumbles around as if drunk or drugged as he goes to check on it, and he finds nothing, so he wanders back over to the bed and flops down, lays down, however you want to say it, and fade to black. They fade back into the morning light as the dude wakes up alone in that same bed. He gets up hungover and stressed and finds a large gash on his inner elbow, but no blood anywhere around it. He opens the curtains, checks his wallet to make sure it has all of his cash, and finds one of the glasses they were drinking from is broken and covered with his blood. There is a small amount of blood in the bed by her pillow, and the film cuts to him wandering the hallway, smoking a cigarette and asking if anyone is there, and basically shouting out Fran's name over and over again.
I would also want to find the people if I had just had a great night like that. I mean, great as can be, but yeah,
hoping to double dip yourself there is what you're talking about.
Yeah, exactly.
The dude continues to wander the house smoking, noticing the clock has stopped in the room he wanders into and checks the amount of daylight outside. He eventually wanders over to a table and finds a sort of sacrificial looking knife, then wanders off from that and down the stairs. They cut to him getting into his car and starting it as he turns it around and gets the fuck out of there before driving off to see the caravan couple. That leads to our next clip.
Excuse me for intruding, but I've hurt myself.
Yeah, of course. Come on in.
Thank you.
Sit down.
Thanks. It's nothing serious.
Just one moment.
Only a little cut, but it hurts a bit.
It's quite a deep cut.
Did it on a piece of glass. Well, I must have had a few too many last night and fallen over a broken glass.
Yeah, it's pretty swollen.
First, I'll disinfect it. Sorry.
It's all right, carry on.
Yeah, it might hurt, but it helps.
Thanks for your help.
Well, don't mention it.
With my arm in this state, I couldn't have driven very far.
You ought to rest for a while.
Oh, I feel fine now.
You sure?
Why not stay with us and have a cup of coffee?
Oh, no, thanks.
That's she's right, Hot cup of coffee do you good.
Well, that's very kind of you. Thank you very much. Have you got the correct time, please?
10:15.
It's ridiculous, but my watch stopped. It's never done it before. Well, I'd best be on my way. Many thanks for the coffee and your help.
That's okay.
Does anyone live in that house?
That's a question I asked myself earlier, and I still haven't found an answer. Goodbye.
Bye.
Okay. Now, I want to make note that clocks are stopping, watches stop, and all sorts of things like that happen whenever people come into contact with the women and or are led into the house with them.
Yes.
I think there is, you called it a loop, and I'm referring to it as purgatory, but I think there is a point where basically they step outside of the living world and how time and space actually works when they go into the house with the women or whenever they are basically with the women. I don't know exactly where it may be, but I think it's either symbolic of they're dead already, and this is just the loop re-hitting again with these vampire women, or it's kind of just an inclination that they're otherworldly and it's supernatural and these guys kind of cross over whenever they're led. I don't know if it's the doorway to the house or where it might actually be, but something happens where you get marked from interacting with these ladies and you basically are no longer a part of the living world, whether they murder you or not.
Yeah, right. and you're either murdered or you're just having a real sucky time in your life.
And at some point in time during the clip, whenever he shows off his watch and he talks about how his watch stopped, we see a car that looks an awful lot like this dude's that's crashed up with a person that looks an awful lot like him and the same watch on. But it's so fast, it's really hard to tell if that's what they intended or not. And they just kind of move past it really quick. So we don't know if maybe this guy's already dead and his body's already been disposed of or what the fuck is going on. We just see him back at the caravan as he drives off again. They discuss the man and how the wife had to ask questions. Fuck it. That is dialogue and our next clip.
Word.
The urge was too strong. You had to ask him, or you would have exploded.
He didn't answer my question, did he? Look. He's going back to the house.
Yeah. Yeah, I can see. He's going back to the house.
I'm sorry about this morning. I had to get up at the crack of dawn and I couldn't get back any earlier. I had so much to do. Will you forgive me?
Ah, not to worry, you're here now.
Oh, I almost forgot. I'm not alone. I'm with friends. I'm sure you'll like them. That's Miriam and her friend. Freezing in here.
Well, I'll have this alight in a jiffy.
Do you like that?
Look, may I make a phone call?
Afraid not. There's no telephone in the house.
No, it doesn't matter. It's just that I'd arranged to meet some friends of mine. I would like to have let them know I was going to be a bit late.
Oh, I feel so guilty.
It's okay.
Can I give you a hand, darling?
No, thanks. It's okay. I'm afraid it's all we've got to offer. Red wine, but a very good vintage.
Oh, thanks.
Good health.
Do you like it? Everyone seems to like it.
The cellars here are stacked high with the stuff. Some of it must be years old.
Really?
Have a drop more.
Thanks.
Miriam, darling, I'm afraid you'll have to go down to the cellar to fetch some more. I'm sure Rupert will be able to help you in the choice of an excellent vintage.
With pleasure.
Let's go, then.
I waited for you all day until I fell asleep in the car.
Forgive me about this morning. I thought I'd be back earlier.
This girl, your friend.
Miriam?
Yes. Was she here last night?
No, I told you we were alone. Just you and I.
But does she live here with you?
More or less, she's my girlfriend. We have a lot in common, get on very well together.
But it's crazy to live in an old place like this. No telephone, the place almost in ruins. These walls could fall in on you any moment. Who is this chap, Rupert?
A very nice man.
How long have you known him?
Since this afternoon. He gave us a lift here.
They'd have chosen a bad spot for camping.
Well, I don't see why. It's attractive and quiet. Nobody's bothered us.
It's not the point. How often do you read of horrible things happening in just such a situation? Quiet, isolated corner. Couple like us.
Oh, darling, please. Don't start all that again.
Well, first there were those two women. And that man with a cut on his arm.
Well, now you're exaggerating. The poor man came in search of help, which is perfectly natural. Well, you cut yourself and the first thing you do is look for help. Logical, no?
Well, when I asked him if anyone lived in the house or not, he avoided a proper reply.
Well, not exactly. He implied in a very friendly manner that you shouldn't stick your nose into other people's affairs. And I find that perfectly reasonable.
That's not the point. He said he didn't know if the place was inhabited or not. And then he spends his nights there. Now, why?
Oh, for goodness sake. Because he probably has a wonderful time with that woman. Or the two women, the ones you're so concerned about. Or perhaps they live in the house. Or perhaps he lives there himself. Or somebody does. Well, how should I know? Oh, Harriet.
No normal person would live in a place like that.
No?
No.
That is the end of the second 20 minutes.
I mean, the guy's being pretty dismissive of his wife's concerns or girlfriend or whatever she is, but I mean, it is kind of creepy.
She's not wrong, but also I think she's a little over into what's going on. And I think more or less he's just like, keep your nose to yourself. Yes, they're acting strange, but you know, we're here just camping. We're not on those grounds. That is a manor house. You know, these people have the right to their own privacy and their business. The guy hurt
She's
himself.
a busybody.
Right. She's a busybody. I refer to her as that in my notes quite a bit, actually, coming up. When I actually start taking notes and stop doing all
just because she's right doesn't mean she isn't a busybody.
Right. She's absolutely sticking her nose where it doesn't belong. And I wonder how long, if they would have just stayed there camping, if they would have been fine until all of this ended, or if they still would have gotten taken, because there's a certain point where her busybody nosiness of staring out the window, wondering what's going on, takes a step too far, and she pushes it too far. We haven't gotten there yet.
No, we're getting there, but...
Yeah, but it's getting closer and closer because she's more concerned with what's going on around her, which justifiably so, she's a little concerned about the strange behavior of the women, but so far, her husband's also right in that we haven't really, from their perspective, other than that guy flopping in, admitting he was drunk and may have fallen on some broken glass that he cut his elbow with, other than that, they don't really have a whole hell of a lot of indication that these women are really doing anything wrong other than going to pick dudes up. I mean, we've seen the car crashes after it's over. We know what's going on, but she doesn't know that. She's just nosy.
Yeah, she is. Very much so.
What the fuck, lady? Just let these women live their lives. Let them enjoy themselves.
Yeah, right? Holy cow. Come on, man.
You ready to move on?
Yeah.
All right, so the third 20 starts with Fran talking the dude with the arm cut into some more fucking. She strips as he checks his arm wound. Her stripping is a definite thank you movie, so they start throwing down again, and the film cuts away to Fran and her dude snuggling in what seems to be post-coitus.
Oh, yeah. They had themselves a fine evening.
His elbow wound starts to bleed again, and she crawls over to lick it up, and there is something very, very sexual about this.
Not for me. It's a hard pass.
Man, no, that was working for me. I know it doesn't work for you, but that definitely
I do not begot you that. If anybody liked it, if any of you guys liked it, more power to you.
If you want a fear boner.
Yeah, exactly.
They cut from this to Fran finds her blonde friend mesmerized out in the hallway and covered in blood on her mouth and hands. The pair writhe in ecstasy together for a moment and dart off to a room where the young lad has his throat ripped open and is flopping about. The pair descend on him and start a feeding frenzy as he struggles to fight them. It's horrific and fucking sexy as shit all at once.
Yeah, it's not bad, huh?
And then Fran grabs a knife and the sexy blood feeding reaches a crescendo as the kid dies from multiple stab wounds, and these ladies go nuts on him.
Oh yeah, dude, when they go into a feeding frenzy, it's scary as shit.
And also super sexy.
Yeah, well, yeah, that too.
They cut from this to the ladies dragging his corpse down the stairs and then cut to the women showering together. Thank you, movie. As Fran's friend says that Fran is playing a dangerous game and she must kill him before it's too late.
Yeah. But oh man, shower scene.
Yeah, then the pair throw down in some lesbian shower sex in this
shower scene.
And I'll tell you what, this sequence makes it really hard to type with just one hand, but thank you, movie.
Yeah. Well, that's why you write this down. I mean, first you get the business done and then you type it. I mean, what are you thinking?
Same time, man. Same time.
I don't know you. Same time.
They cut from this to the ladies go out hunting yet again, and this time the busybody caravan lady follows them through the woods and spies on them as she does it. See, I did decide on the previous 20 minutes that she was a busybody. I started calling her that here.
You did.
The ladies creep through a church cemetery and quicken the pace, losing the caravan busybody lady in the process. They cut from this to the dude with the vaginal elbow wound as he comes to and starts chugging wine yet again, and then tries to muster enough energy to get up and peer out the window. He discovers the mirror in the room has been wallpapered over, and yeah, that is fucking weird and a total warning sign, dude.
That is what we like to call in the business a red flag.
They cut from this to caravan dude is dressing and sees his lady return. They cut from this to vagina elbow dude happens upon a car accident while driving, and it's the dude from last night, dead as a fucking doornail, and vagina elbow dude recognizes him at once.
Yeah, and yeah, it still goes back. What I mean,
yeah.
Listen, some people just deserve to die, okay? You can't help them.
They cut from this to vagina elbow dude goes back to the manor house and starts to further investigate as he snoops around the abandoned house.
Yeah. Why? Just leave. Go. Get out of there.
He ends up heading down to the basement or cellar, which is a huge mistake with vampires around, you fucking idiot.
Yeah, that was dumb. Way dumb.
He is trapped in the underground tunnels that is this cellar. When he finds that, the door slams shut behind him and the latch breaks so he cannot open it.
This is great.
He goes exploring the cellar tunnels and rooms, lighting a candle for just a moment to help him along the way. Then he just decides to fuck this, parks his ass down, lights up a smoke, and looks around the wine cellar room in this part of the house, but just doesn't move from there.
Yeah.
They cut from this to the cemetery and then the caravan's busybody as she continues to paint the manor house. She hears a noise behind her and sees the two vamps walk up to her. Fran says, I always knew we would find each other by this sign. I will always recognize you. I don't know what that all means or what, but okay. They go into the house. They go into the house.
Whatever you need to tell yourself to live.
They go into the house and Vagina Elbow Dude calls out. They find him and retrieve him. Wait, there's dialogue going on, so that's our next clip.
Who's there? Fred?
Open the door for me! Fred! Is anybody there?
Is that you, Fred?
Yes, what's happened?
The wind blew the door shut and the handle has fallen out.
What on earth made you come down here?
I was looking for you.
Are you all right?
I've been locked down here the whole bloody day. Do you know that your friend, Rupert, who was here last night, is dead?
Dead?
Yeah. I saw his car on the main road this morning.
He didn't look too fit as he left last night. I told him to drive carefully. He'd had too much to drink.
That's terrible. Poor Rupert.
Yeah. And now I'd like to get out of this damn cellar as soon as possible.
Come on. I'll take you upstairs.
Yeah.
Let's go.
And what's more, there's a few things I'd like you to explain to me.
He is led upstairs. They get naked again. Look like they will throw down once again, but the dude drops himself across the bed as he clutches the vaginal-looking wound on his elbow. She kisses him all over, including the vag on his elbow.
Mm-hmm.
That
is gross.
As her friend walks in to start feeding on the elbow vag as well, and then things turn into erotic vampire murder as the lesbian couple do a lesbian 69, or at least it's implied. Then the pair start throwing down as they are feeding on him occasionally. That is that 2-week dude with the vag elbow. He's too weak to do anything about it. This is hot, and man, is it really difficult to type these notes one-handed.
Oh, my Lord. Well, okay, that's all you. You have yourself a great time.
Camera spins, and we dissolve into the next day, and that is the end of the first hour.
Jesus, thankfully.
This it wasn't really a feeding frenzy. It was like sort of a little blood orgy that they had where they were drinking his blood, both enjoying it and savoring it, and then going after each other sexually. Well, he's kind of conscious. He's kind of watching them do it. He kind of can't really do anything about it. He's definitely under their spell. And it makes you wonder what's in the wine that these ladies have been feeding these people. Is it drugged in some way as well to help them on their way?
I would take a taste of it and see. If it knocks me out, you know it's potent shit.
Make sure you do it in the same room with the lesbian vampires that are coming after you.
Don't tell me how to live my life, all right? You're not my boss. You're not my supervisor, okay?
Well, if you're going to really feed the lesbian vampires, you might as well be drinking their wine in the same room with them.
Listen, if they feed off of me, they're going to need to be on blood pressure medication. They'll gain like 60 pounds. That's nothing but straight fat,
vampires,
baby.
why would they want to put their teeth in man?
Yeah, exactly.
What this is from.
I mean, they're
I think that
vampires. Why would they want to put their teeth in man meat?
I think that's exactly what it's from.
The thing is, they're bisexual though, because they clearly like men too.
Well, you never know. They could just be straight for blood.
Instead of gay for pay, they're straight for blood.
Yeah, straight for blood.
That's a pretty fucked up way of looking at it, but all right.
Just saying. It's a possibility. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, well, they're definitely into each other, but I mean, they also find men's blood quite attractive.
Yes. Yeah, they love stabbing and cutting men. So
hey, we have that
what they're into. You're a fucking weirdo.
You want to move on then?
Yeah, let's go ahead.
All right, this is going to be the end run to the final act of the film, so here we go. We see that it is the next day when it dissolves from this sexual orgy that we were talking about into the next day. We see it's the next day. The blonde vamp lady wanders the hallways in a see-through nightgown. She closes the curtain to block out the sun and goes to wake Fran to tell her that it is daytime. Fran seems out of it and has to quite literally be dragged out of bed. They cut from this to the busybody lady wanders past past a private property, no trespassing sign, and I do believe this is the sign that is the demarcation point of when the Vampyres women can actually do bad things to you, is when you cross
I think
that
so.
line.
Yeah, because you're on their property.
Yeah, well, it's like the grounds themselves are doomed, and I think that sign is basically the demarcation point. We don't see anything happen with her watch from here, but this is the point of no return, and if you would argue that that's not the point of no return, there's another one where you cannot argue that it's definitely not the point of no return.
Yeah, right.
All right, well, she's in an overcoat, and she's just kind of wandering around the property. We see the ladies dart down the stairs, and then they cut to the busybody lady approaching the manor home. Then they cut from that to Fran and her friend dart into the cellar. Then they cut from that to the busybody wanders the manor grounds and up the steps towards the front windows to have a little bit of a snoop about. Now, this may also be the point where some people would argue, no, maybe she just has to go inside the house. Well, you just fucking wait.
Yeah, because it's coming.
She tries a door, which obviously means that she is going to go snoop about inside the house, and then finds that it's locked. So she wanders around some more, trying to find another door, which she does, which is the very front door we've seen the vampire women cross through. She finds that it is open, and she wanders inside and starts to cautiously step into the foyer as she then begins a proper home invasion snoop about. She crossed the threshold of the door. We know how vampire lore works. If it's a vampire's lair, and you have to cross that before they can feed on you, because everybody that they attack seems so far to be inside the manor is where it at least starts, or they have to be inside the manor first for them to be able to be fed upon. She has definitely crossed that barrier. There is no arguing that at this point.
No, yeah, she's fucked up.
She wanders down the stairs where the Vag Elbow dude got locked in and starts snooping through the tunnel areas under the house. She finds Fran passed out on a fainting couch, but does not notice the blonde vamp is huddled in the corner. The blonde vamp wakes up and flees outside of the room and away from the caravan busybody. Caravan busybody leaves Fran where she is and has more of a snoop as the blonde vamp follows her about, lurking in the shadows. The busybody backs into a long since desiccated corpse, and we see behind that one specific corpse there is yet another desiccated corpse in the far corner that she does not seem to notice. Did you happen to take notice of the type of hair color and what those bodies look like?
Yeah, they look like them, right?
Yeah, they look like the women's skeletons that were there.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, that's a message right there, I think.
Yeah, it's a bit of a hint that this is more of an ethereal, spiritual vampire thing, or like they're vampire ghosts or something, not your typical vamp story or something along those lines. Well, she flees the cellar without ever even noticing those fucking corpses and runs smack into her man at the top of the stairs, scaring the ever-loving shit out of her, also creating dialogue, which is our next clip.
Have you gone quite mad?
Thank God, it's you. What are you doing here?
I might ask you the same. What the bloody hell do you think you're doing in this house when it doesn't belong to you?
I've seen them down there. They spend their days asleep in the cellar.
Let's get out immediately.
It's the truth, John, I tell you. Those two women are down there like living dead.
When you didn't return and time was getting on, I imagined you'd be sticking your nose in somewhere or other that you shouldn't be.
You're impossible.
As the pair wander off, we see that the vagina elbow dude is still alive, but just fucking barely, as he cannot seem to stand up or have the strength to crawl away. They cut from this to the vamp ladies pick up another victim. They cut from that to Vag Elbow calls out to Fran and collapses again. They cut from that to the vamp vixens bring the latest morsel of food back to their manor house once again. Fran leaves the blonde with the dude, and that leads to our next clip.
Who's there? Outside. I hear voices. Met him. Picked him up. On the roadside, no doubt. Just like Rupert. Just like me. Who are you? Where the hell do you come from? I must get away from here. I must get away from here!
Would you like a drink?
Yes, very much indeed.
Good. Just a second.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Say when.
Well, that's plenty.
Fran!
Oh, that's Fran's boyfriend. This always happens when he drinks too much.
Oh, really? Poor chap. Better luck next time.
Yes. Cheers.
Cheers. And this is excellent. It's one of the best wines I've ever tasted.
Good. Have some more.
Thank you.
It's a vintage of our own. My friend and I are rather proud of it.
And yet I could tell you everything you wanted to know about this wine.
Oh, yes? I don't believe you.
My dear young lady,
You were sitting in front of a true connoisseur. Now wait, and first I'll tell you the country of origin. Shouldn't be too difficult to judge.
You'll never guess. I'll bet you anything you like.
Don't be too sure, I'm an expert. And I've recognized some very obscure wines in my time.
Well, let's see how you manage this time.
All right, fine. Just a moment. It's a claret.
Yes, but
no,
that's
wait. It's, comes from a small vineyard. Well matured.
Go on.
Very well matured.
Indeed.
Positive and yet... No. It's too light. It's definitely not a Saint-Emilion or a Grave. It's a Medoc. And therefore, it must be a Margaux. Polyak. No. It's too highly scented, too feminine to be a Polyak. It's... I've tasted this wine in the Saint-Julien region. Yes, it's a Saint-Julien.
Sorry to disappoint you, but you're wrong. This wine comes from a remote part of the Carpathian Mountains.
The Carpathians?
Yes, that's right. Lucky you didn't have a bet on it.
Well, anyway, it's excellent. What a pity your friend isn't here to appreciate it. Cheers.
Cheers.
They cut from this to the caravan couple getting ready to throw down. But I do have a quick question for the lady of the caravan. Why take off the boots first, right? You were wearing a skirt. Your underwear could have very easily slipped over the boots. Why not leave the boots on? Why not? It'd be a little bit more fun. Give your man a thrill. Also, you can kind of use those boots to hurt him a little bit, and maybe he'll like that.
I mean, that's true. He might like, wait, are you talking about him or you now?
Anyway, so this
God
is...
damn it. How many lawyers are in the room?
Absolutely not. Anyway, this is a consensual sex scene. So once again, thank you, movie. Very little sex or nudity in this film is not able to be enjoyed according to the rules of the PSYOP.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's a fact.
I mean, the only real problem is there's some violence on screen with the nudity and some blood feasting, which some of us are way more into than others on this show.
Yeah, right? I guess so.
Well, they cut from this to the ladies lead that wine connoisseur dude to the basement, and fuck it, they're talking. That is our penultimate clip.
Well, you've certainly got a good stock. Now, that's a beautiful wine.
Oh, I have a much better one than that to show you.
What, really? Better than this?
Yes, much better.
Well, that's fantastic. You know this wine is nearly 15 years old. That really is the sort of wine I appreciate. When I tell the taps about this, they just won't believe it. An isolated house in the woods, at the witching hour of midnight, and a cellar full of this marvellous wine, and above all else, in the company of two very charming ladies. It's almost too good to be true.
Nothing's too good to be true. The only trouble is life's too short.
And for you. That's strange.
What?
My watch has stopped. Look. That's never happened before.
With this, Fran starts making out with the dude who pulls down the top of her dress, and he goes after a titty suck or two just before making a play for a threesome that was super smooth by just sliding right into kissing the blonde vamp lady. And she seems into it, fakes him out, and then bites his fucking neck. So not so hot for him, but pretty hot for those of us watching this.
Didn't go well for him.
So now we got ourselves some real fun to watch, folks. He scrambles away in fear and disbelief as the ladies lunge at him with knives in a stabbing frenzy that cuts away to Vag Elbow, dressed and stumbling, and then it cuts back to the feeding and stabbing frenzy that's really fucking hot, and then they cut away from that to Vag Elbow falling down the stairs, goddammit, trying to flee. Then it cuts back to the ladies emerging from the basement, then it cuts to Vag Elbow stumbling up to the caravan. It cuts from this to the couple wanting to take the Vag Elbow man to get some help. The hubby wants to go start the car, but he is attacked in the car by the vamps and is now sincerely dead. Well, most sincerely dead.
Yeah, most sincerely dead.
This particular feeding frenzy is a total fear boner generator for most of us.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I like the idea of dying, but
Oh, it's fucking sexy and terrifying all at once. That's where I like to live.
It's a fear boner. It's a fear boner.
They cut back to the caravan as Busybody pauses to snoop about and goes to the car to find her husband dead as the vamps lunge for her and drag her off. We cut to the vamps take the woman to the basement and strip her nude, which is the only nudity not enjoyable in the film because she is demanding that they stop. They prepare to feast on her as well. I think they slash her throat and then the screaming stops immediately. They cut from that to the vamps darting through the forest at dawn, and Vag Elbow stumbles towards his car. The vamps debate going to kill the dude as they then just keep moving and dart through the cemetery. It fades to black and then it fades in and cuts to our final clip.
Hey there! Hey, listen! This is private property and you shouldn't be parked here. Didn't you read the notice on the road back there?
Hey? What?
Now come on, wake up. Be thankful I don't run you in. Drinking and trespass. The next time, go and drink your wine somewhere else. It's always the same old story.
Oh, wait a minute. Let me explain.
I'm not interested in your explanations. Now the best thing you can do is to move on. I've work to do, and your presence here is not an answer.
The price being asked for the house is cheap for the amount of land it stands on.
Is there any truth in the legend they tell about this old house?
Well, it seems that some years ago, the bodies of two young unidentified women were found. A sad story that hasn't helped selling the house. You know how superstitious people are. The murderer always returns to the scene of his crime. But the ghosts of these two poor women haunt the building. One can't believe in such things nowadays, can one?
Well, my wife and I would be thrilled at the idea of having a ghost in the place. Just imagine informal weekends here.
Oh, darling, isn't that fascinating? We just can't miss this opportunity.
During the clip, Vag Elbow takes off as he was told to do, and the old couple walk towards the house with the realtor guy. Roll fucking credits. Okay, so they know it's haunted. They talk about how it's haunted. All of the things that we've seen seems more like ghosts and or a reoccurring thing to me. So whether they were vampires before and this is like a reoccurring haunting thing and they were somehow slaughtered as vampires, or if they being slaughtered turned them into vampires and it's like this repetitive haunting thing where they kill people but they just sort of disappear and go into this nebulous other world based upon what's happening in this house. I don't know. Maybe this old couple and the realtor are going to get sucked into it and get killed too when they step through the threshold of the house. Who knows?
Right? You never know. You don't know what's going to happen with these people.
Yeah. The other part of it might also be that because it's after the end of this cycle where they ran off again and all the feeding was done, maybe this old couple can have this and then however long it takes for this to come back around, as long as they're not there, they won't die. Who knows?
Yeah, until the guy has to come back.
Where all the wine comes from that they keep drinking, that's like this weird Carpathian vintage of some sort, or if it's just the women's blood that they're, giving to the guys to entice them, because I've seen that before where vampires can use their own blood to claim a victim or what have you. I don't know. I don't know exactly.
Every time I hear Carpathian, I think of Ghostbusters 2. Only a Carpathian would choose New York City.
Well, Vigo is a little bit of a hint towards the real life Vlad Tepes, I think.
Yeah.
Because some of the things they accuse Vigo of doing in that movie is very similar to the things that the actual Vlad the Impaler did.
Ah, well, good for them.
Minus making prophecies once his head was removed. I don't think that he did that. Not that I can prove anyway.
Once his head was dead. When his head was dying.
Yeah, so a lot of what's going on in the movie is really ethereal and ghost-like and just feels sort of like a fever dream. So I'm not, I'm not really 100% convinced that they are corporeal beings that are there. I think it's people are crossed over and they are, when they're lured in, they pretty much just enter this weird nexus realm that these people are in, and the vampire ladies feed on them there, and then everything disappears, including their car. Like the cutaways of like the cars showing up later is basically like where they rematerialize for the corporeal body after the person's been fed on is dead. And that's why it all looks like car crashes. That's why they're all there naked. And that's why they can't find any other evidence and track it back to where these men came from. I think the stories that are surrounding this old building are just all the people that wind up dead somewhere in this vicinity.
That is a possibility. I mean, you can't really discount that. Yeah, well, I still just think they're caught in some stupid loop.
Sure, but there's something that's closing that loop, and anybody that steps into it winds up in a car crash dead naked if it's a dude. Or in the case of the caravan couple, I think they stayed outside of it, even though the vampires came up to her and said that they recognized her and that they would see her again or something along those lines from that mark.
Maybe because they said that. So maybe that couple is part of all this.
Yeah, it's really hard to tell. And it leaves it somewhat open to interpretation and to think about, and it gives you an opportunity to have a bit of a discussion about it like we're doing here. And I actually rather enjoy that. That's all very cool stuff.
Yeah, it's nice. It's a good thing. It's good.
Yeah, and I actually really enjoyed revisiting it, even though I knew pretty much the entire time that we were going to be revisiting it.
Yeah, right.
It still was a fun watch to go through and talk about.
Yeah, it was. That was a good time. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed watching it again.
All right, so
not just for the dirty reasons.
Well, the dirty reasons in this print definitely made me a lot happier.
Yeah, well, I'm sure. Yeah.
All right, so I think we should probably do some PSYOP news, and there's a specific story that I think we should probably give the people too.
Okay.
It's in the group, and it's pretty much what we got stuck in our butts last year.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought I already did that.
Well, we did it for 2020. We did it for 2021. Now it's 2022's turn.
Oh, all right. God damn, there's so many things in people's butts.
Well, why don't you pull up that article and we discuss that topic privately and on our own before I even play any more music. We're going to be sung out here by the Rifftones. Yes, that is the guys from the final iteration of MST3K, whenever they do music and riff on a movie at the same time, with the song Sparkly Vampires. They are very clearly making fun of the Sparkly Vampires from the Twilight series, because I think the Rifftones actually did that as a Riff Tracks live, and that's why they made that song.
Yes, that is very true.
We can stop talking about the song if you found the article.
I have the article now.
All right, so let's tell everybody what people put in their butts with some PSYOP news.
All right. This is the Defector. What did we get stuck in our rectums last year?
Oh, is that me getting a metal rod shoved up my rectum?
It's possible. It's possible. We're going to find out.
And your rectal passage.
Yeah. Let's see here. Fuck.
I believe our man Robert in the field actually posted this article.
Yes, he did.
If you've ever put incredibly long penis,
he certainly does. And if he's sticking it in rectums, hopefully he doesn't get stuck. If you've ever put anything inside yourself and gotten it out again without needing medical attention, congratulations!
Did you gotta have it.
My asshole actually sweat.
Ooh. Well, I mean, I suppose it's gonna happen. If you're, getting things stuck in there. Anyway, all right. Things went way better for you than they did for so many other poor souls. And this is a tribute to American ingenuity, American perseverance, and above all else, American recklessness. All reports are taken from the U.S. Consumer Product Safety Commission's database of emergency room visits. All descriptions are verbatim, and as always, remember that flared base is your best friend. As always, objects are sorted by orifices. So, okay, we're skipping nose, ear, throat, and like I said, this is, give me a second here. Here we go. Rectum. Damn near killed him. Oh boy. And let's take the deep dive again, boys and girls. Plastic toy fish.
That's fair.
Is that fair for you?
If it's like the kind that's like the one that flops around or whatever, I can see where someone might want to do that for the thrill.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I suppose that's not unheard of.
Yeah.
Small bird toy.
Small bird toy.
Small bird toy. Yeah.
A toy for a bird or a toy bird?
Your guess is as good as mine.
Whichever one is less painful is what I'm going to picture.
Yeah. Silver magnet.
Easy way to get that out is to find another magnet.
Yeah, you got to find another magnet and you'll be fine. Yeah, it's all there. Sent in by wife for possible 16-ounce glass bottle in rectum.
Ouch!
That would be hurtful.
That sounds dangerous.
Yeah, I would assume. skincare bottle. And that is not how you care for your skin, folks. It goes on the outside, not on the inside. Come on. How dare you? Hair mousse can.
Oh my goodness, a hair mousse can?
Yeah. Piece of a lamp.
Oh, not a whole lamp, just a piece.
Not a whole, just the piece.
Just a piece of a lamp.
We're not perverts here, all right? So it's just a piece of a lamp. Come on. Or a lamp. At first I saw it, I thought it did say lamb, and I was like, that's
horrific.
That's horrific. You people, you need some Jesus in your life.
That's how you get lambs stuck in you, man.
Yeah, right. Jesus. Anyway, let's see here. Cube-shaped toy. Handmade toy made out of metal.
Oh, God. It was like a rocket or some shit.
Yeah. Or maybe a handmade sex toy.
That they're trying to sell as a rocket?
Yeah, or something. Let's see. A crayon. Ratchet wrench. A T-handle wrench.
Ouch.
Yeah. Let's see here. Says was in the shower and fell and the shower's stopper stuck up rectum.
Sure, he fell on the shower to get that stuck in rectum.
Yeah, I'm wondering.
Or they, I should say. I'm not going to just assume a gender. But that sounds like such a male excuse.
Yeah, right. Action figure head. Action figure. Toilet brush.
That was two separate incidences, but the same actual action figure.
Two separate instances, but it was an action figure in both.
Yeah.
Let's see here.
The second time they actually figured out how to get the action figure out themselves, but the head got dislodged.
Right.
While it was stuck in the butt.
Toilet brush. Patient complaining of rectal pain. Patient admits to inserting sex toys 6 months prior.
6 months?
Yeah, I don't think it was... Well, maybe, yeah. It must have still been in there. Yeah, 6 months.
Wow.
Spoon. Vibrator egg. Patient not sure if passed in stool. Deflated balloon. Fist-sized water balloon. Fist-sized water balloon.
Yep. You know what they're doing, right? They're putting it in there and then filling it up later, right? That's the kink that they're doing, yeah.
Yeah, that seems to be it.
Yeah.
Vegetable peeler.
Why?
I don't know. Patient states that he has a big toy stuck in rectum. Patient says he fell on top of it. Comb. A comb.
You notice where there's a lot of dudes that are slipping and falling on dildos?
Yeah, right. Fragrance beads.
Fragrance beads?
Fragrance beads. Really? Reusable ice pack. Oh, glass beer bottle. Guys, what's with the glass? Let's all settle down.
Yeah, please do not put glass objects into yourself, especially beer bottles, which are notoriously thin.
Quote, had a few beers and then placed a long wax candle into his rectum. Lost balance, fell onto a couch, and lost hold of the candle.
Okay, so this guy says that he fell.
He says, listen, I had a few beers and he decided that he wanted to,
put
a candle in there.
Yeah, but I believe this is the one person I believe fell and got it lodged because he was already getting it lodged.
Yeah, right.
When he fell. I get that.
Yeah. At least he's being honest about it.
Right. He was probably using the couch to hold the candle in place.
Yeah.
So that he could get whatever he was going to get going with it. And then that's when he fell and it just went all the way through.
Pill container, cologne bottle, and perfume bottle. Says girlfriend put vibrator in rectum while he was asleep.
And you didn't wake up.
Yeah, that's straight up rape, though.
Yeah, unless this is a predetermined thing that they were allowed to do.
Yeah.
But yes, that's a sexual assault, yes.
Yeah. Billiard ball.
Oh, Jesus.
I know, right? Patient says he was playing with a container of athlete's foot spray and accidentally it ended up in his rectum. A lot of accidents happening around here, but you're just goofing around, I guess. Just goofing around, putting things in your butt. And accidents happen.
Clip. Also, I have a hard time believing that you can just accidentally take a can of spray like that and have it end up there.
That's what I would also wonder about why that's happening.
I just don't think it's possible, my man.
Stainless steel rod.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, you know what that's going to be bringing, right?
Of course.
Ooh, is that me getting a metal rod shoved up my rectum?
It could be.
And on your passage.
Ice cream cone, a Monopoly piece, and finally,
actually sweat.
2 poker chips because of a bet. And there you go. That is what went up our rectums in the past year.
Booty juice, gotta have it now.
Well, folks, make sure that whatever you're putting up there has some kind of a plate or an end to it to where it doesn't get lodged and stuck so that you can always get it back out. Because let's face it, you're going to want to leave it in there as long as you want, but you definitely don't want it in there longer than you want.
Yeah. because then you're going to be on this list.
Yeah, and
we're going to talk about it.
Yeah, you don't want that, but every year that it gets posted, we're going to probably do this eventually.
We're always going through it every January.
At some point in time, absolutely. It's the way that we're going to reign in the new year for you.
Yeah, I mean, I would assume so.
Let's just go ahead and pull the chain on this one. This is more than long enough of an episode.
Agreed.
All right, so we're going to play the Ending Legion promo, and then after that, we're going to come back with the band, as I promised, Incubus Succubus, and the song Vampyres, spelled exactly like they do for this movie.
If you enjoyed this show, then make sure you check out the other great shows on the Legion Podcast Network, like Cinema Psyops, Cinema Beef, Devour the Podcast, Duncan and Bo Come Correct, Exploding Heads Horror Movie Podcast, Friday the 13th, Get Slayed, The Hellming Power Hour, Hello, This is the Doom Show, Hero Hero Go Show, Kill the Cast, Underwater Kaiju from Outer Space, Jerry Hates Action, Legion After Dark, Mental Health, Obsessive Cinema, Discourse, Pick 6 Movies, the podcast by The Cemetery, the podcast on Haunted Hill, the Psychosemantic Podcast, Rick Radio, House of Wax, Dude Looks Like the 80s, Rabbit and Red Radio, the Shadecast, Short Bus Cinema, 2 Drink Minimum Commentaries, the VD Clinic, Who Will Survive Horror Podcast, and Witch vs. the Doomsday Clock. With such a wide spread of shows, there is guaranteed to be a niche for you to fall in love with. Horror, politics, movies, books, sex, music, commentaries, health, video games, kaiju, action, news, comedy, and opinions that would most likely get you killed in some parts of the world. We are proud to bring you some of the best podcasting in the world. Check us out at www.legionpodcast.com, iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, YouTube, and any other dark corner of the internet where podcasts can be found.
Okay, that was Incubus Succubus with the song Vampyres, which is spelled exactly with the Y, just like this movie.
Yeah. Well, that's nice for them. Very convenient.
Yeah, it's also a whole lot of deja vu. And if these vampire women are stuck in a loop, then maybe Matt and I are stuck in a loop, and we're going to end up covering this again in like 60 more episodes.
I'm starting to think we should do that now.
That's fucking lame. I don't want to keep reviewing the same movie every 60 weeks of my life.
But we're in a loop.
We're in the loop. Now we're in the loop.
Yeah, right.
All right, you can find all the previous instances where we have covered vampires on legionpodcast.com/cinema-psyops-podcast because we're stuck in this loop. We're also available on the Legion Discord chat where you can chat it up with us, have a couple of moments where you spend some time with some fellow listeners and or other podcasters just talking about whatever's on their mind in modern day entertainment or just whatever's going on in their lives. Really nice fucking place to hang out and just chill. Not really all that super busy, so join up. Have a couple of things to say and see where it goes.
Talk to each other. Make nice.
I'm going to lay out all the other social media stuff that has to do with our memes and how that gets posted. Number one, goes straight to the cinema_psyops Instagram feed, which then immediately is shared to the Cinema Psyops main page for the show where I post all the episodes. From that page, I then share it to my personal account of Court Psyops, then to our Facebook group, also named Cinema Psyops for the show, and also the page and all of that. It's all aptly named, very easy to find. It's also shared to about 12 other groups, or 11 other groups in total, and then it ends up making it to where it's a total of 13 shares from that page. All of our episodes are shared there as well in the Facebook group, and then additional memes that I just find and don't deem worthy to share during the workday for everybody. I share to my main page and or just directly to the group, depending upon how offensive they may be.
Yeah, and if they're really offensive, that's when he's sharing them with family.
That would require me to contact my family in some way, shape, or form, which I don't often do.
Oh, yeah. Who wants to do that? Sounds like a mess.
Well, while you're out there listening to this show, because it's the only way that I contact you, kick the fuck out of this weekend, make it your bitch.
Fetish. That's my fetish. That's my fetish. That's my fetish.
All right, calm it down.
All right, you recording on your side yet?
I'm going to be here. I am now. 1, 2, 3. Everything's coming up Millhouse.
So that means it's not working right?
You go. No, it's fine. Everything's fine. Shut up. Everything's coming up Millhouse. Don't be mean to Millhouse. He didn't do anything to you.
He existed, therefore I'm not happy with him.
Damn. Fucking cold-blooded shit going on this goddamn podcast already.
All right, well, let's review the first movie that we're going to do twice now.
Yeah, right? The first movie we've done... I'm like, watching I'm like, am I insane? Or have we done this before?
Yeah, I kind of knew that we were going to be doing a double dip on this one, but I felt like it was worth it. But let's save it for the actual pablum, and let's just get the show started.
Word up.
All right, here we fucking go. Oh, shit. I numbered these wrong.
Uh-oh.
It's no big deal. I got it. 2 seconds. I'm just renumbering them.
Cool.
So I still recorded the same number of clips. My notes just had them misnumbered. All is well. Everything is fixed. And 3, 2, 1.
Man. Hold on. This is, articles causing my phone to have cancer. Hold on.
Oh, that's okay. You know what I also think might actually be from our original coverage of Vampyres?
I'm going to kick shame you for the stabbing fetish, okay?
That might, yeah. That would, that's a distinct possibility. And I do want to kink shame you for all of that. So.
That's fair.
All right. Let's see here. Fuck. Sorry, man. My phone, either my phone's dying or this website's just the fucking work. That would require me to contact my family in some way, shape, or form, which I don't often do. Oh, yeah. Who wants to do that? Sounds like a mess.
Well, while you're out there listening to this show, because it's the only way that I contact you, kick the fuck out of this weekend, make it your bitch.